Hello, traders. Welcome to the early stream where we've got some nice price action on Bitcoin that had been decoupled from equities. All we needed was, the gaps to fill. Right, yesterday, a lot of the Mag 7 gapped down, and we were discussing the bots and the day traders and how we got that short covering at the end of the day, because there were no bids yesterday on these big tech stocks until the day traders said, all right, we're going to cover our short, which is them buying back, which caused a small rally off the lows. And it's just like they don't want to be involved. They don't want to stay short when there's an unfilled gap above because of what could happen today. And I'm looking at it, and it's like Apple gapped up, Microsoft went to fill its gap, Amazon filled its gap, Nvidia did not fill its gap, Google filled its gap, Tesla filled its gap, Meta filled its gap. So there you go, man. And so that was just good for Bitcoin, because Bitcoin had been performing decently on sell-off days, bad days for equities. So if you have a decent day on equities, green candle, look what happens. Bitcoin's up 4.4% over, it's nearly a $4,000 gain on the day. Yesterday was a $2,300 gain on the day. Wow. So in a matter of less than 2 days now, since Jesus rose from the tomb, up 7.86%. Phenomenal. And it's the dragon, right? The dragon broke out. The tail began its development. April 12th, bullish back test of the old supply line flipped to demand line. Nothing burger for a week, and then again after Easter Sunday, when futures opened out the gate, the bids started coming in. Yesterday we saw a test of that 200-day simple moving average. Today we're breaking it. Highest price we've seen on Bitcoin formally since the 6th of March. So going for the highest daily candle close since March 2nd, since the Trump pump and dump tweet stuff. Okay, so now though, figured, hey, if we catch any the target's 92K at this point. Well, if they can break that overhead resistance, and seems like they did, and so now we have a steel wall. Like, you can talk about one of the most relevant support resistances you have, 92K. Just like 73.8, that level down here, just as important. In between those levels, straight up and down for the most part.
Gold shooting star if we close like this.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Yep. It was up a little bit. It's now near its lows of the day. Gold's pulling back. Peter Schiff just tweeted too much. So it's about time, man. We say that, then gold just pumps tomorrow. Who knows? You're on a parabolic run. You have no idea when the blow up top's gonna be, but it's crazy right now. And any sort of, you just think about gold. What's so crazy about gold is since April 9th, okay, that's 13 days, gold up 17.25% at its highs. It's off those highs though. Last night we saw a peak of $3,500. My alert went off, and it seems like that's psychological. The zeros and the fives, that was it. So there you go. Early stream. I know this is not a regular stream time, so a lot of people probably don't even know I'm live. But whatever. I got my workout at 4 p.m. Eastern, so I'll be taking my pre-workout at 3:30. I'll do it live. Brought it in here, and so yeah. But I'll be live till right around 4, hopefully. So yeah, this is phenomenal price action. It's beautiful that we saw, like, all we did was identify a pattern that's been identified 1,000 different times before, more than 1,000. You know what I mean? The low, the slightly lower low, the divergence. The sellers were literally telling us there were forms of exhaustion from their selling, and it's hard to trust until you make higher highs, higher lows. I get it, but it's just a dragon pattern. And so Dragon could end up becoming a shark pattern, which a $105,000 pattern completion zone of that shark. Now, a lot of up and down can occur in between there. So we could hit this level. This is like such a level where you could imagine, there could be certainly people with limit sell orders here. Like, no doubt. This is crazy. I mean, it was 90 days of support. Then it flipped to resistance. And then we marked down to our lowest price of 2025. And now here we are up against it again. You can see on the 4 hour. You get some more candles, but you can really see how it's just real. 91,560, 92,779. We're just testing the bottom end of the inflection zone. Could take it all the way, 92,779, and you'd still be at resistance. So great news for crypto, because finally, my God, finally, some Ethereum doing something, which, if Ethereum does something, all these crypto altcoins built on the ERC platform, well, they're catching some bids too. Most still look like crap, but others are kind of interesting. And that's the thing, right? I mean, like VeChain and XLM, my God, those wedges were beautiful. Like CRV, whoa, what a bat pattern. Whoa, that's actually crazy. But then most were like the lowest lows, all-time lows, or like 6-year lows, and no structure. And just guess what? They popped today, because that's what happens. You don't have to have an edge for an asset to rally. So Bitcoin dominance, I'm sure, sold off some. It didn't. I can't even look. My thumbnails, I have an old thumbnail, okay? It says Bitcoin dominance rising, and I figured like with Bitcoin up 4.64%, but then Ethereum's up 8%. Solana's up 6%. Lind up 7.4%. You would think, hey, this would be down a little bit. I mean, maybe just barely, but this is actually on the day at its highest level, like we saw yesterday. Again, highest level seen since February 25th, 2021. So over 4-year highs as I'm speaking to you on Bitcoin dominance, market cap dominance. And with still a 70% target, there's just nothing here looking left. I mean, you're going to have ups and downs, but still this trend is just a runaway freight train for years now. Unstoppable. Wyckoff accumulation, reels up. So, all right. Bitcoin futures, perhaps you've heard of it, is the dragon. Here we are. You know where we're at. Hey, the great news, we can finally say pretty much, I mean, this is amongst one of your first higher highs of the year 2025, taking out the swing high from late March. This is kind of a bad action magnet move situation. All right, you just flip it over. Okay, B points of potential M shapes, right? You could just use your imagination here and determine, oh, this is what I'm talking about. Like, right, you break the B point, the probability increases substantially of a deep retrace. And so it very well could be 105, 106 here. It just could. But we do, it's just like, all right, cool that we broke a bad action magnet move, but there's still this overwhelming level that is just got to be broken. And they haven't done it. We're just up against it right now. 91,566, up 4.62%. We're now up over $4,000. Incredible. This 4-hour candle is higher than we ever saw on the last 4-hour candle, where Bitcoin rallied tremendously. So gotta love this, man. And of course, right after the death cross, that's what I'm saying. Like, why I don't really even talk about the death cross. Well, it wasn't on CME futures, but it certainly was on spot. And it's just like, why do you talk about the death cross? Because this is what happens a lot of times. And it doesn't even mean that we're out of the woods, okay? If we go back to death cross we saw in 2022, I think we got a spike. I don't know. See, the death cross was pretty bad. January 2022, the death cross happened, and then a few days later we crashed. Well, see, after the death cross, you went through this consolidation period from January 2022 all the way to, I guess, till late April 2022. And then the bear flag, you broke that support and crashed again. So it doesn't always mean that death cross here. Yeah, this is a good situation. Like June of 2021, there was a death cross, right down here, and you didn't do anything. You just went sideways for a while until buyers defended the level, and then you went to all-time highs after that death cross. So that's what I mean. Like that wasn't the best example on this one, but the one before it was. So, and then a death cross here. You had a death cross August of last year on the daily, death cross. And then what happened? You rallied initially, sold off, retested the lows, and then that was it. Then you went to all-time. You eventually made it to over $109,000 after this death cross. So it's like, why it shouldn't be that big a deal. It's not telling you any. It's not giving you any edge. Okay, identifying it, but cool. What would give you more of an edge, or what would make me more confident, would be at some point, whether we break 92K or not, wherever the sell-off concludes, if we get one, when we get one, the selling concludes higher than the previous discernible swing low on the daily, which is 74.7. So there could be a lot of downside, still make a higher low, and still be fine. So giving ourselves definitely some breathing room. But that's Bitcoin. It's kind of in-depth stuff. The weekly was great because we had a bullish engulfing candle. Then the next week, what did we get? We got a follow through with price action candle. And now, TA respected, right? I mean, that's great. Bullish engulfing. You need follow through candle the week after to confirm its validity. And look at us now. I mean, we're going for the highest weekly candle close since late February. Whatever. It's all about 92, 93K. Because above that, 100K. If we could break it, you'd be surprised how fast we might see 100K if we do. But that's such a tall order, man. This is like one of the most powerful resistance support levels you could dream of right now, due to what we were doing from mid-November all the effing way to early March. Yeah, this is gonna not be easy, but man, imagine if we break it. Wow, it'd be a smooth ride up here. And people would hurt, right? The pain would be so high because sideliners, right? This is typically how a lot of times the moves happen so fast that the unsuspecting participants, or the ones that weren't participating, they close their eyes because of consolidation for too long, and then an election or something happens, and then oh my God, like they wake up and what, we're at 100K, but we were just at 65K, 68K. Like, yeah, we were just at 74.4. Now we're at 91.6. I mean, Bitcoin off its lows now. It's kind of crazy. Bitcoin is off its lows by 23.45% in less than 2 weeks. Wow. All right. Well,
since we started out on Bitcoin, let's go further into crypto.
Yes, go. Oh my God. Bro, you didn't even want to say anything, Yessie? Thank you so much for the $100 super chat. Can we get some hype in the chat for Yessie? Thank you, dude. Holy crap. Super chats for Bitcoin. Let us push us to higher levels. Okay, we started out on Bitcoin. Yessie, we're going further into crypto, all right? Ethereum up almost 8%. Well, it was up 8%. You did see the highest price since April 6th. And it's cool, right? We discussed there's no edge. You're not at an inflection point, bottom or top, right? You're just floating and performing miserably while Bitcoin's, okay, the difference is Bitcoin had a peak. Let's say March 25th. Here's Bitcoin's peak. Bitcoin's trading higher than it was trading now. It was 88.7. Okay. So Ethereum, though, March 25th was at 2,074. And as of yesterday, Bitcoin was at the same price. Ethereum was still down 26% from the same peak we're comparing the two. That just is testament to how bad Ethereum is. So it's like, well, there wasn't a structure really locally that you could manage your risk. It was very weak looking, but we just know, like, hey, if Bitcoin rallies, everything's most likely things are gonna rise with it. They had not been though lately, right? I mean, Bitcoin, yesterday's rally, nothing really moved with it. Ethereum closed at its lowest levels, and I mean, almost since the 10th, and Bitcoin's making the highest daily candle close in a while. So just not the same assets, but cool to see Ethereum bounce, but it hasn't even tested 1728. If it has, it's just barely touched it. Now above that, that's cool. Like you headed to 1972 to $2,000, but that's a big if. Just cool to see a green candle. You're still in this downtrend here. No breakout at all, right? Bitcoin, okay. Bitcoin had its supply line from January 20th. Ethereum has its supply line from December 16th, and you're not even close to it. You could run up to 1863 and be confined within it still. So it's cool to see. After yesterday, Ethereum paired against Bitcoin. What happened? Lowest level, lowest close we had seen in over 5 years, and today is up a little bit. Okay, congratulations. Crypto hoarder might be excited, but I don't really. I mean, it's just that you get green candles, chat, occasionally. Green candles. Here, green can. Oh my God, it's a green candle. It doesn't mean anything. You've broken support. You're waiting for lower. It's just congratulations. You're outperforming Bitcoin today by, 3%. Cool. XRP did something nice. That supply line, I think we broke it. And we were talking about, trying to decipher price action, the psychology of buyers and sellers. And it was like, okay, well, they were selling off, but the sellers were just not even able to come close for days, half a week, more than half a week, to go test the 200, go test the 196, 190 level again. And it was almost, we painted that little, momentum shift, inverse head and shoulders looking but it could have been a better inverse head and shoulders at 196. It would have just been better. But hey, too much demand, I guess, and now we've broken a resistance, a supply line, it seems like. And, you're going for your highest close since April 12th. Maybe soon, if you go a little higher, it could be the highest close since March 28th. But you just got to wonder. You got to wonder if what this is a sign of strength. And remember, sellers had control, and then they ended up failing to test supports as they had been able to violate supports, test supports. They couldn't do it this time around. So it's very interesting. Price action. Okay, so I wonder if this will manifest into a run to 265, 272 again. Bitcoin ever breaks 93K and goes to 100K, this is probably going to 265. Well, it's just a huge if, man. You were up against critical areas. Cue up the song. This is big time. This is like everything right now where Bitcoin is. Okay, so nice development on XRP. All right. Solana, been monitoring this one like with a microscope, right? Where, they broke out of this little structure. They recaptured 124 to 130. They back tested it as support, bullish engulfing on the 16th. And then we got another rally. It was kind of performing better than all the other altcoins. And, 135.81 is a massive level. This is almost everything IMO. Dude, it is a magic level where if buyers recapture and reconfirm it as support, the consequence 192 right there. They did it this time. The consequences were all-time highs. And so now, same stuff. I pinged everyone on the Patreon literally yesterday. Are they defending? They're defending the magic 135.81 level, right? It was resistance recently. It flipped to support, and it's like, hey, that's a big deal. So Solana at its highest today. It saw its highest price since March 7th, and you got a trip to 159, 162 if, they don't rug it. They don't rug the market, which futures we can look at. The stock market's open, but it's like, hey, Bitcoin's catching some really good favorable price action right now. So interesting. My nice bullish engulfing candle, going for your highest daily candle close since March 5th if it stays the same or higher. Wow, insane. and it's all coming off of the lowest low of the downtrend, right? And you don't really have a discernible major swing low here that's higher than this low. But this is what we're talking about. There's different types of rallies, chat. Different types. There are exhaustion rallies. Okay, that's when like you're making lows, lower lows, maybe even slightly lower lows, triple divergence. Okay, that's typically how a reversal will start. Not insured, but typically how it starts. And the rallies you receive off of it can be violent, but a lot of times they're short-lived. And then, the buyers relent, sellers take back over. But after the exhaustion rally, there was so much of a move that when the sellers attempt to take the price lower to test the lows, they fail. And all of a sudden you get a higher low. And then momentum begins to shift from the hands of the sellers, the lower highs, lower lows, into the hands of the buyers with the higher lows, more than before. Okay, then you get momentum shifting rallies where you get another rally. Then you sell off again, and then all of a sudden you make another higher low. And then you might have made a higher high before that, and then all of a sudden you can start saying by the book that maybe the trend's beginning to reverse. There's evidence of it via data. And then on the third valley, that is an accumulation low. And then after that, that's where you can see very, very pronounced and more longer sustained rallies after the third valley. Okay, so there's a difference, and this is just, I think, Bitcoin, Solana getting exhaustion rallies.
The behaviors of buyers and sellers.
Angry Ebola, thanks so much for the 690. I'm not sure. I'm not really sure. I don't think anyone really knows, but I think the market has shown us in the past couple days, unless we're just early and it's going to dump later and recouple with equities, the market's showing us that Bitcoin is something special. Yeah. But I don't know if it has anything to do with the ETFs. We have a changing monetary world order, okay? We are at the very beginning of the phase of it, okay? We are in a transitionary period, and it's going to take years for this transition to unfold. So good news is Bitcoin doesn't have earnings. Bitcoin is supposed to be an asset that someone can own to prevent themselves from being exposed to counterparty risk, right? Like governments and tariffs and trade wars, inflation, censorship, right? Government overreach. So that's good. And then it's got the fixed supply. So I would imagine if you have institutions buying Bitcoin and they're not selling it, finite supply, man. Given enough time, enough orders, enough bids over a long period of time, math's gonna math. No coins can be diluted, right? No printing, no inflation. I mean, a lot of these cryptos actually do have inflation. They're inflationary. Like the devs do inflate the supply of these S coins. Like Solana is a certain example of that. Like the first time we made, what was it? We weren't even at near all-time highs yet. But the market cap of Solana was at all-time highs, with Solana not at all-time highs from 2021. And that proves that it's inflationary in nature. That proves that the devs increase the supply of it. But that's not the case with Bitcoin at all. So, yeah, good question. Anyway, so that's Solana. Enough time spent there. Let's go to BNB. Nice to see it rally. It's, hard to manage risk, but at that level it's been at, but 621, 638 on deck. Hopefully what we're maybe witnessing is a low, and then the same low, but locally this low got a form of confirmation and maybe a subtle sign of strength that there's so much demand that sellers could not even test 510 again. Similar-ish in a more profound way than what we saw in XRP. The sellers tried to test support and they couldn't do it this time around. So that could mean something. As again, that type of stuff is really important. It was very good to see right here. I'll just show you again a good example of this. I don't even know if I have it plotted. I'll just plot it real quick for the sake of education. Oh, I still have it plotted. Right? It's the same thing, a situation like this where you're in a pronounced downtrend on Ethereum back in 2022. You have the structure, right? The descending triangle. You have negative price action correlation to key levels, 1972. But here you go. Look, it's like there was such a lack of demand from the market participants at the time that the level that had been tested thrice. I mean, not to mention the horizontal line support resistance, right, from history. There was such a lack of demand on this little rally that the buyers came very short of seeing those resistances, and that's like a sign of weakness, SOW. And look what preceded the failure from buyers to test the demand line or the supply line again. It crashed. I mean, it was a major markdown. So that's the type of stuff maybe that you were getting on XRP. Maybe you're kind of getting on BNB. That failure to see the bottom again. Okay, Bitcoin 91,700. Man, it's already 15 minutes out from my pre-workout. Well, at least you'll get like 20 minutes, 25 minutes of me like going crazy on pre-workout.
Big Baddie will tip $25. H.M. Gartley on Cust Weekly. Same setup as last bull run, August 2020, just much bigger. Entering the last year of the 4-year cycle. Prepare for launch.
Is that true? Up 6.45% today. Nice. Hey, dude, I'm happy with Litecoin. You know why? Because when there was an edge, it made sense to short. And what was target 3 and the exit of that short setup on Litecoin? 67.21. Where did Litecoin go? Oh, look. 67.21. It eventually got to 63.53 at the lows, but that was it, man. That's why it's like, you know, crypto was so beaten down and destroyed that, you know, to short, you're shorting at value perceived areas for longs first off, but just they were so beaten down that you're just, and then illiquid. They get so illiquid when they dump so low so fast or so long. They take so long they bleed out. They become so liquid that it just doesn't take much money that's sidelined over all that time to come back in to move the meter real fast, to move the assets price real fast. So like you see it hits target 3 and starts rounding. It's up right here, or like 83.19. And the thing is, like you say, what is it, a Gartley? You're saying this is the X point, A, B, C, D. Maybe. Yeah, maybe. I think he's saying it's just the wicks are too crazy. You see what he said. Like when weekly. Weekly only hit 2 to 3 long setup targets. Gartley. I mean, you certainly could start saying, wow, there's like, in a way, you could start saying there's like beginning to be hidden bullish divergence, a low on price, the higher low on price with higher levels of negative momentum. Paint that teal. You know, I try to color code divergencies. Green, hot green is classic divergence. Teal is hidden divergence. So, I mean, you got a support here. Gartley, I think he's talking about, are you talking about, oh, yeah. I mean, it's been there, right, forever. I don't even know if that's real Gartley. I'm not worried about it. I mean, this could obviously be a level where someone, you know, again, it was the exit of the short because it's such a godlike level. It's an ancient battleground. I mean, it's where orcs and elves and humans have fought for thousands of years. Okay, support resistance. And yeah, you can't be surprised if it gets defended after a crazy markdown. I mean, how fast and how much of a loss was that from that entry? I mean, it went down to 52% in like 34 days. So yeah, of course, $66. A level that's constantly been regarded as support and huge rallies off of it. Yeah, okay. So locally on the daily, you don't really have much of a structure. You always want confirmation lows. But yeah, in the end, by the time it saw $66, you were seeing some nice classic bullish divergence on the MACD histogram. Sure. There you go. So the divergence is playing out. Bitcoin had divergence playing out. Okay. I'm in chat with Litecoin. You break 84 though. I mean, there's just not much in the way until 105. So it's all about the levels. Without an edge, it's all about the levels. Like if Bitcoin ever broke 92.7 or 93, whatever, and then it could be a quick right. You could be waking up and we're at 99K. Just the same as if we can't hold this level, if we cannot break it. I mean, this is where we could see another just a big old sell-off back to like 88.5 fast for a test. And if they don't hold it, then you're going straight back down to like 84. So yeah, it's exciting, but we got a lot of work to do. I mean, that was great though, right? I mean, I love the fact, and people were like, your supply line's off, man. This is how the supply line. I'm like, okay, whatever, man. Everyone's got their opinion on where supply lines are anchored and all that. And it's like, this is plotted on the daily, and then you just go to the 4 hour, and this is what it looks like. And it's like unreal. Like they even tested a little bit and failed before breaking it, and then back testing it, go sideways for a week, and then now you're breaking upward. It's gorgeous. So Litecoin, yeah, whatever. Break 84 could be going higher, sure thing. There's no structures locally lately. Probably could have plotted a supply line or something, and you're breaking that. That's great, dude. All right. Let me look at Lind real quick, because this was like a wedge. And I love how they violated the bottom and then recaptured it immediately. And this 129.79 level was regarded as, it was resistance. Look at this. They sprung it, they back tested it as support, and then it was just like you were at the tail end of development of this falling wedge. How do we know it was at the tail end of development? When the pattern converges, you have the apex. The closer you get to the apex, the greater the probability of resolution is going to be, and they fake this out. So this could be a very nice run here. There's a lot of resistance above you. Again, it's like Litecoin where it's like, okay, just made its lowest low. You don't know if you're out of this downtrend yet. Lower highs, lower lows for months. It'd be nice to see a discernible higher low, higher high, higher low, so we could say the trend's good. But exhaustion, right? Sellers get exhausted, and you get rallies off that. So, I mean, this is your next high, like 196. That's a long way up to just make a higher high. So cool. And then, man, I'll tell you one thing. I know we're gonna get stocks. I'm sorry, because there's just a lot of activity. XLM. Look at this, chat. The one we're talking about, it should be in an effing freaking textbook. You broke out pretty much yesterday, but today it's like confirming the breakout because they broke the level yesterday of the candle close, and today they're back testing the supply line as a demand line, and now you're going for like your highest daily candle close since April 1st, 3-week highs, and a lot of upside to 31 cents. So this is just magnificent. It's just chart art. A wedge this large, you could, okay, if you think about just traditional Fibonacci targeting for a wedge, I mean, your big target's a 618, so like 47-cent target. If market conditions improved, again, so like traditional targets, 50%, target 1. Traditional market targets, right? Like if this was just Costco and it was a wedge, and you wanted just good old targets, there you go. It'd be target 1, 50% retrace, target 2 is a 618. Simple targets if this played out, but this might take months. This could take a few months to play out. But man, I'm telling you, right? XLM with the structure, baby. Does this make sense, man? Chat, are you here? Is stream on? I know it's an early stream. Wake up, dude. Thanks for the 700 people tuned in. We don't even have 200 likes yet, really. 700 people watching, not even 200 likes. Do the math. It's not good, man. Love this. Have your alert set on XLM. This is one that's beautiful. I'm telling you, it's so nice. Okay, then the other one that looked really good in terms of just structurally, not sure about how it was going to play out, if it was going to fail or not, because you didn't have, any confirmation lows. But V-Chain, are you kidding me? Look how gorgeous this is. I mean, it broke out of the wedge, but I mean, even in textbook examples of wedge breakouts, you'll find same type of price action. It'll still sell off, but it'll be broken out, but eventually they'll test it as support. And then it tested this 1.8 cent support that goes all the way back to 2018, and it happened to bounce there. So, going for the highest daily candle close since March 27th. Again, locally, you would prefer like a confirmation low or something, and you get that later. But man, if it's real, and if it was just going to do a common retrace, the same type of Fibonacciing we would do from like XLM, the highest point of the wedge to the lowest point, and your targets on this, given enough time, if Bitcoin actually was going to rally more, like this is how you would just size it up. I mean, what is that? 4.89 cents up to 5.6 cents, your typical Fibonacci targets. That's a lot of upside, isn't it? I mean, just to see, and look, it hits those levels and rolls over, and we go way lower later. But again, so what would happen if that occurred? I mean, that'd be, V-Chain would go up 50% in value if we got target 1. Target 2 would go up 56.6% in value. So not many look like this, but the ones that do, really intriguing stuff. So Pepe was starting to look okay because it was like putting in that local low. This is what you wish V-Chain and others were doing. They were putting in lows and then lower lows. And then Pepe, though, was like buyers were defending this August, September low, springing back, testing the spring, and now, getting closer and closer to the highest close since early March, and your upside could take you to 108,000. And I know it's the US dollar. I'm not wasting my time with denomination. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, it's like, great. There could be some more upside on Pepe, believe it or not. Hbar is really interesting because of what happened. Okay, this is, people could look at this. Look at this, man. Look at the 12-hour. Here it is. It's not, maybe the 4-hour. Let me show you the support, okay? Support resistance. Let's go back and look. Hbar back from, look at this. Swing high, old all-time high, February 2021. Swing low, May 2021. Look at this, the level they defended, and then look at the rally you got after. It went to all-time highs. Okay, back years ago. So that, that set the stage for the future. And look at that same level. The sellers violated it, but then they recaptured it. Then they reconfirmed it as support. But then you like rivaled that price action you saw late March, early April. And it's like, wow, it's like a structure. It's like an inverse head and shoulders. And they're trying to break the neckline here, right? It's a very well established neckline. So if that happened, you could see a big rally. You could go to 23 cents and be making your lowest high of the downtrend. Okay, so even in downtrends, you can get big rallies that will just manifest into the lowest high of the downtrend, and you'll roll over later. But that think about Hbar could go up 31, 32% and still be in a downtrend, still be in a long-term correction. So, yeah. Cody, what's up from Amsterdam, dude? Yeah. So let's get over. Oh, got 3 minutes. I got to take my pre-workout. But hey, you want me to take? It's good price action. Anything with 16 cents, technically okay. Protect yourself below 16 cents with a stop. But I mean, you could target for 23 cents on Hbar. But your cutoff again is below 16 cents because we looked at the historical significance of this level. Well, we're above it. And above it, given up time, 23 cents. So since we started out on crypto, let's go further into stonks. Let's go to the spider first. Again, I got my pre-workout right here in this guest bathroom next to my office. So we'll look at it. Well, I'll take it. I'll take it live. Anyway, Spider, right? We talked about it gapped down, so shorts covered to close the day out. Day traders, the bots, and look, you gapped up and filled the gap from yesterday. It's filled, and since it's filled, what's happened? Sell off. Yep, been selling off since the gap fill. So that's maybe what the objective of the traders were today. Go fill the gap and then fade it. Maybe. The shorts start reassuming shorts again, I guess, after the gap fill. Okay, so it's up 2.15%. Nice, but you get moves up like this all the time in downtrends. Yeah, so it gapped up, the Dow Jones, and filled the gap left from yesterday, and that's about it. 2.32% up on the day. Doesn't really mean anything. Still trading below 39.8, 40K. That's the big deal. That's the magic level. You need to get back above that. You really need to take out the swing highs we saw at 40,800. That's a big deal. All right, so you see, unfortunately, it's like we come here and it's like, okay, here's the NASDAQ. Well, they do, they gapped it up to fill the gap from yesterday and literally nothing else. Doesn't give you that much confidence. It can't really give you much confidence. That's normal stuff. Now, and the good news is maybe, I mean, there's another unfilled gap at 16,800. Maybe the next few days, if we get a rally up there, holy crap, Bitcoin could break 93K. All we need is just a little bit of favorable price action on these equities, and Bitcoin's going to have a field day like it's been having. So we're really rooting for the NASDAQ buyers to go fill that gap 16,800 sooner rather than later. There's another unfilled gap at 17,572. You fill both those, we're at 100K maybe. Okay, and then the IWM, and then I'll take my pre-workout. I got to do it now. IWM still below 188, but man, if they could ever break that 188 level, it could be a smooth ride to 200. Give me 1 second. Let me go take this. I'll be right back. If you're enjoying the live stream, hit the like button, the bell, at sub. Don't go anywhere. Be right back. All right, sorry about that. Wow, Bitcoin at the highs of the day right now as I'm speaking to you. Gold is at its lows of the day right now. Wow. Not just shooting star, but also dark cloud cover potential. Because guess what? Gold opened higher than yesterday's close, and now it's piercing through over 50% of the previous candle's body. Yeah, this is like potential major Japanese candlestick reversal being painted after hitting a very real psychological $3,500 mark. I mean, it hit $3,500.20 at the all-time high at the peak of today, and now piercing, previous candle. So dark cloud cover potentially on deck for gold after appreciating value over 17% almost 18% in less than 2 weeks. Yeah, one of your largest market cap assets in the entire world. Pretty much is. Okay. Yeah, with my alert on 30 for 3,500, one of them is like unbelievable. Like, this is just crazy. So any pullback, who cares? Like, it pulls back, it's probably not done. Like, I don't think blow off top's gonna happen now. I'm just saying, you pull back, you may go fill this gap, 3170, and pivot, make a higher low than 3K, and run again later. It's just overcooked, man. Like, this is crazy. Absolutely ridiculous. Let's see, April. Where we at? April 22nd. So year over year, gold appreciated in value 46% at the highs. So it's like, what, 44%, 45%. Okay, so cool to see gold pulling back at the same time Bitcoin pretty much at its highest level. Well, it's definitely at its highest level since March 5th. So we're talking, what, 7-week highs? Nearing 7-week highs. I like that. Guess what? Index funds are not making 7-week highs. Not even close. Yeah, really impressive on Bitcoin. So, we look at the Mag 7. We now look at gold. Yeah, so copper continuing to rally. Highest price since April 3rd, going for the highest close since April 2nd. They defended a key level, still making higher lows, which is just insane, right? Hog futures continuing to pump, man. Hog futures, highest price seen since May 7th of last year, so 11-week highs on hogs. Your bacon chart. And man, that $77, $79 level, when they confirmed it as support, little do we know what it would turn into. So you're breaking in some pretty big levels here. Yeah, hog futures, killing it. And then, of course, feeder cattle futures nearing all-time highs. Maybe getting a little toppy up here, just so elevated. And then we can just look at live cattle futures, which is another good day at 1.24%. It's so bullish. It's so powerful. It's like, gold's doing some parabolic blow off top thing, but talking about something that has not gone parabolic yet, but has been in a multi-year uptrend, is live cattle futures, and it is poised for a major markup with this low, this higher low, spring back test. It's like ascending triangle behavior locally. It's incredible. You break 207, everyone should have an alert set up like 207.47. So we hear the beep. That's an all-time high, and that's a major breakout. It's a price discovery. Anyway, let's look at silver real quick. Perhaps you've heard of it. It's down today. There's no edge. Yeah, long-term uptrend on the monthly, though. It's good, but we can't manage our risk appropriately here. As swing traders, there's no structures. There's nothing really like great. Okay. All right, U.S. oil up 1.25%. As they defended 60, I mean, this is going to be remaining in a downtrend for a long time. They could take this thing to $70, take it to $72. It's still going to be in a downtrend. Okay, so rejoice on not, I mean, because you fall below 60 long enough and it's a real breakdown, you're going to 50 real fast. So they defended it, recaptured it. Nice. Okay, we can look at like the Mag 7, and here you go, chat. Here is the price action correlating to the inflection zone, the bottom of it. Very real last 4-hour candle, and now this one with 22 minutes till this 4-hour close. Let's go from best to worst. Tesla, the best performer of the Mag 7, only up 3.7%. It was up more. But the problem is, man, this is why the day traders, they close their positions before close. When no one was buying yesterday, they covered, caused a rally, and they knew maybe what was going to happen. The unfilled gap just above you would fill. That's exactly the only thing that happened. The unfilled gap filled at the highs today, and they've been selling off since. So people are going to be like, well, dude, it's like it was green today. Everything's good. And it's like, no, it's not. It's not great. Nothing changed. Did the trend reverse because we were up today? Sweet mother of God, no. This still looks real bad. Amazon up 3%. Let's go. But again, it was only because there was an unfilled gap the day before, and they filled the gap, and it's been faded. So nothing really great about this yet. That's not going to change anything. Still bad. Apple, a little better. Well, the problem is I guess they filled the gap, but created a gap below you. I wonder, is this going to be a bullish abandoned baby? Maybe the highest today, but man, that's pretty big selling pressure coming in at a big level. I mean, this is such a big deal on Apple to break 196. It's like 182 real fast. So unfilled gap below you. What happens tomorrow? Well, they might just gap you down and fill that gap. You know, it's hard to trust these big tech stocks right now. Meta is only up 2.44%, and all they did was fill the unfilled gap from yesterday. Come on, dude. What is this?
No way. No way. What is this garbage?
Just close the fucking door. Close the door.
Nothing great. Cool, dude. We're up, though. Google up 1.69%. Unfilled gap from yesterday is filled, and that's it. And now 151. Let's look at 151. Well, support was resistance. It was resistance. This is the old all-time high from 2021 and 2022 twice, right? They confirmed it before it went to a bear market, right? For 10 months. Okay, that level, I'm just showing you. You can see it. It's not my opinion. 151. It is real. Okay. What are they doing to it today? Let's check it out. 151. Oh, look. They're getting two birds stoned at once. An unfilled gap from yesterday, from 2 days ago, is getting filled. And at the same time, what was once a 2021 cycle peak is being regarded as resistance again. How is that good? That's not good price action. We need to, in order for us to be, oh, this is okay, is we close above 151. We don't test it as resistance. What a joke. Okay, Microsoft. Oh, unfilled gap getting filled, and literally that was the top. Sorry. It's just, that's all it is.
Very bad, boys. Very bad.
NVIDIA, the worst performer of the 7. Oh my God. Think about how bad this is. Oh my God. It's another level of bad, because just showed you all the Mag 7s filled their respective gaps. And here's NVIDIA with the same type of gap, 101.55. There was such a lack of demand today. Oh, this should be a good day, man. VIX is down 10%. We should be at 101.38 to fill the gap. There was such a lack of demand, they couldn't do it. Oh no. And there's all these unfilled gaps. Man, there's a ton of them. Oh, there's 3 of them. There's like 1, there's 2, there's 3. No, there's 4. There's like 4 unfilled gaps. Like 1, 2. Yeah, 3 unfilled gaps, 1 and 2. Yeah, 3, sorry. I don't know what to say, man. That's bad. The semiconductor index, let's check it out. Up 1.3%, congratulations. It filled its gap, but it gapped up today, and we'll probably fill that gap tomorrow. Yeah, sorry. It was more, significant. Bitcoin price action was more significant today than what we saw on any of the Mag 7s, unfortunately. Geoff explained the unfilled gap. Unfilled gaps tend to fill. Like, there's this phenomenon that buyers and sellers on markets, it can't really be fully explained on exactly why, but when gaps occur on charts, for some psychological reason, everyone in the market wants that gap to fill eventually. So they typically do. And it might take years sometimes, but if they're local and they're lately, they typically fill, quicker. And, it's like, oh, it's a gap from 2 days ago, and it's not a big deal of a gap with high volume. Oh, it'll probably fill soon. So as you can see, what I'm talking about, here's a huge gap down. This was the DeepSeek AI gap down. And over the next few weeks, what happened? The market participants needed, for some reason, we don't know exactly why, they needed to fill that effing gap before we went lower. Okay, so I'm wondering if it's more like a square up where the exchange, if the exchange has, if someone goes short, the exchange has to be long, so they're underwater briefly, and they can eventually push the price back to that level to offload their position at a break-even price. That could be part of it, but it's just gaps tend to fill. And Google's a great example of one that it took. Think about it. Here's an unfilled gap, Geoff, from March 15, 2024. Okay, Google gapped up, and we never saw that gap fill until, look, April 7th. So we're talking 13 months it took for the eventual gap fill, and about 18% of the time, due to Bulkowski's research, gaps act as support. So they filled that gap, and it was support, and we rallied off of it. But see, that's the thing. Like, NVIDIA was a good example of like a more short-term gap filled, and this is a good example of a long-term gap filled. So it's just a phenomenon. It's just like the rule of three. It's like we don't really know exactly why, but typically after a third local valley, third local peak, third test support resistance, the probability increases substantially of resolution. It's crazy. Anyway, there you go. Bitcoin, you knew, like, it would be the most surprising thing and the least expected thing ever for Bitcoin to run up to this level and to break it like nothing. Like, we knew this level is like where people are probably maybe taking shorts, people are taking some profit, and that's it. So that's like why you will see this type of price action. It's correlating to the level. Okay, 15 minutes to my workout. The pre-workout's starting to hit my veins. Thank y'all for being here for this early stream. About 700 of y'all. We got almost 300 likes. Almost. Could we do it? Maybe. Maybe we could. Yeah, the issue is like, man, stuff like Halliburton. It was rallying off the lows, but it gapped down. They could fill this gap, right? Man, Halliburton just been murdered, dude. Just, wow. Why is it doing that? I'm trying to... Yeah, not many assets down today, though. Mostly everything was up. And then Kellogg was down flat. Still looking weak and weird and sketch here. SJ&K. It was beautiful. The classic distribution structure at the key level. Man, this is what TA is all about. Okay, this is literally just a sermon that SJ&K put on. Because it was like, all right, man, what a rally off the lows. But then they tried to break resistance support. It's undeniable. Okay. It's not controversial. They tried once, sold off. They tried twice, a lower low. They tried thrice, and look on this, the rule of three, right? A phenomenon on the charts. It's just crazy. This swing low, swing high, swing low. Okay, the third attempt locally to break it, it was a lower high than these highs. It was pretty much perfect, but then you got that on this third peak, you got a local form of confirmation. And that's like the perfect short setup entry if you can get it. Like it's perfect. The lowest risk entry, easiest way to set up stop losses, and the max downside if you can get it. And so you flip the chart over, the exact same thing can be said if it was showing accumulation, not distribution, right? Look at the third valley, They test it once, then locally twice. Look at this huge impulse you got after the third valley. So that's like what I'm trying to teach and instill here. That's what we look for here. Price action correlating to levels, but at the same time, after structures have developed over a pretty good period of time. I mean, this took 160 days to develop. And we had something like this that preceded the 2022 bear market. It was a beautiful head and shoulders, and then you got another lower high, broke the neckline, and that was it. 10-month bear market started. And guess what? This is when the stock market crashed again. It was crazy. Dude, I feel like I'm in I feel like I'm in Dune right now or something. Let me show you here, okay? This isn't just like hindsight, technical analysis. This was posted on March 3rd of this year. SJ&K, very bearish price action at everyone in the Citadel/Patreon. Bad for equities if this resolves with a markdown. Here it was. Undeniable identification. You can learn this stuff too. That right there, man. That 3 falling peaks, third peak at the level, and then crashed. Beautiful. SJ&K. Prophetic structures developed before the last 2 major markdowns we got on the stock market. So SJ&K is a ticket to the city. You see bear structures like this at key levels. You better look out. Okay. Dude, I don't know. Is it too loud? Hopefully y'all shouldn't be able to hear the Dune singer. Gold pretty much at its lows of the day again. Why are my eyes being blue weird, nameless? Why is that weird? Yeah, things are up. Okay, you know, whatever. Things are up, man. But are they up much? Not really. I mean, ANET's up 1.3%. It doesn't matter. Like, this is a blow off top. This is what happened. This will happen to gold eventually. Okay, this was gold. The gold chart, right? It eventually will conclude and blow off top, and we'll go through a correction. It'll last for months. I mean, I just don't see how, like, you know, we had an update on ANET or a lot of tech, and it just, Coca-Cola looks bad, but hey, it's up. Of course it's doing that. Of course, all-time highs on Coca-Cola, but it's still not out of the woods. This is just, they're still testing, and you're still pulling back. And if the index funds, you need more, right? You need a lot higher prices on index funds to invalidate this bear shark here with a type 2 return. Okay, so just, it's not over yet.
Over tip $25. Mr. Plaza higher high today.
Oh, thank you, 40 Traveler. MicroStrategy, yeah, we had a breakout. Very real breakout today. Well, it was yesterday. It was actually Thursday. Like, your candle barely closed outside of that supply line, and then come around Monday, you opened out of it, and then you back tested the old supply line as a demand line formally, which is really cool. We closed above it. And then today you're catching follow through. You saw your highest price on MicroStrategy really since February 5th. What I like about MicroStrategy here is above $333. Y'all know what $333 is? 333. 333 repeating, of course. It used to be, it was like 3,333 at one point, but here it is. The old March of 2000 all-time high before collapse. Hey, look, dude, it's the gold chart. This is what gold looks like right now. Anyway, being above that, I think, is really good. I love the fact that MicroStrategy is above a peak from over 25 years ago. Now, you want to break this local peak, because if you have the double bottom, the neckline of the double bottom to confirm its validity as real, as an actual double bottom, is 342.62, and you're just right at it. It looks like you're just going to close the day at resistance. So I don't even know if you can confirm the double bottom as real quite yet. You actually want to close above it, and it needs to look real. And if you do breakout, then that's just not enough. You want to back test the breakout and confirm the old resistance as support the next day. We haven't done that yet, so it's going to be real tough. I don't know how MicroStrategy goes higher unless Bitcoin's breaking 93K. I mean, this is such a real level. I don't know how we break it. It would have to be crazy. It'd have to be nuts. I mean, maybe like, you know, news-driven catalyst comes in. That could break us higher. That could break this resistance really fast. But I don't know what news catalyst would have to come out. It'd have to be like Trump's buying Bitcoin with taxpayer money. Boom. I mean, that would do it. Don't think that's coming, at least in the next few days. But yeah, it'd be nice. I want you to see something. So thank you so much for the 25. I think you would appreciate this chart here. This is the Robinhood chart. Same structure as Bitcoin. Not performing as well, because if this was performing as well, Bitcoin would be, or Hood would be at probably 47 bucks or higher. Could be up at like 49 bucks. But it's the same dragon. Look at the divergence. The low, the lower low, and the 200 moving average, the 33.41 support level. That's a huge deal. If they don't hold that, you're screwed. So, you know, below 33.41, you're dead. You're going so much lower, you lose half your value maybe. But above 33.41 long enough, it could be really good. So as long as that stays, man, you got to wonder if Hood's going to make its own 50 to 61.8% retrace. Right? If we're going to see 50%, you're already almost there. Like a 618, 53 bucks. At this point, you would say, all right, you're just hoping for Bitcoin to do its thing and Hood does its thing, 886. You create this crazy shark pattern. It'd be a perfect shark, 1618 on B2D, 886. Yeah, that would be a dream. So far, you had the dragon, they broke out, and you've back tested the dragon. See, maybe Bitcoin might do that too. Skate along the supply line, hold it as demand line for rallying later. But it seems like it's kind of beholden to equities that are kind of selling off their highs. So, phew. All right, man. Let's see. I gotta go, chat. I gotta go. Unfortunately. Yep, it's workout time. It's definitely workout time. So thank each and every one of you for coming out. Thanks so much for that huge contribution. Yesy Caveat for that $100 super chat. Anchor Abuelo, Big Daddy Bull, and 40 Travel. Thank y'all for the contributions to the stream. So I'll just be back. Until next time, respect the TA. Oh, good. My trainer's a little late, so I can be here just for the closing bell. So we got, it's It's local on the 8s. Last 2 minutes of trading on Wall Street before the bell. And we can just monitor how it looks. Really cool to see S&P 500 rallying off those lows. We got a 52.39, but they're now going to recapture and reconfirm this level of support, 52.84. This would be wonderful for Bitcoin if this is a real recapturing and they hold it. And it's cool to see the Dow Jones hit support and rallied off of it. Very nice. Now, NASDAQ didn't do that, didn't hit support, and has not recaptured resistance yet. So, but NASDAQ's the worst, right? Because it's got the semiconductors, and they're kind of toxic right now because of the macro and China, Asia, tariff, trade wars, man. So, but yeah, cool to see the S&P back above 52.84. What is 52.84? It's resistance, and support, even locally. But then you go back and you can see, is it my opinion? No, it is not my opinion. It is a real level from March of last year. So that is great. All we need is a little bit more of a relief rally on equities, and Bitcoin could very well be breaking 90 to 93K. That's all we need. We have less than 1 minute till the closing bell. Hype in the chat. About less than a minute until Bitcoin closes its 4-hour candle. Here's the S&P. Nice. Okay, so it's recovered some in the last 10 minutes. Yep, the Chinese yuan looks terrible. 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hype in the chat. Bitcoin closed at its highest 4-hour. Bitcoin had its highest 4-hour candle close officially since March 5th. So that's 7-week highs. Just about. And unfortunately closed, kind of at support resistance. So any pullback here, definitely can't be that surprised. And there it is. You closed at the gap fill. It's about it. Up to 2.6%. Nice. All right. But it's cool to see. Gotta love it. Really do. That they've recaptured the 524 level on the spider. The peak from April last year, March last year. So that's good. Wow, man. Bitcoin in its own parallel universe, separate from gold, separate from stocks, separate from currencies. Well, actually, it depends on the currency, right? Because you could look at this euro here, and dang, man, it's not too far off, right? The euro bottomed out beginning of February. It's been running. Today it's down. Down 0.8%. But yesterday was the highest daily candle close on the euro since November of 2021. A long time since we've seen these levels on the euro to the dollar. So all right, so we know the level now, chat, right? We know it. We're locked in. We'll be paying attention to this. Don't be surprised if we see some selling here, but we know we are golden. If buyers somehow can come in and break above 93K, we could be at 99, 100K before you could even blink, because the dragon tail has a mind of its own. The larger it becomes, the more probable it will become of that dragon being put into history books. So we're good. You're here for the close. I'll be back. Till next time, respect the TA again.